Are you concerned at all about losing certain sects of voters?
Not really. We've seen there are always people who will publicly come out against this, either because they truly oppose it or because they find it politically expedient. But we've got some things going on in Nevada that you just don't see anywhere else in the country. More than a quarter of our legislature, of our sitting legislators, have endorsed this and have said to vote yes on too. That almost never happens because legislators are so worried about not being voted back that they'll just take a pass. They won't oppose it. But having more than a quarter of the legislature say this is a better way for Nevada, that's really encouraging. Usually we only see former people, former legislators. And talking about formers, the former law enforcement officers that have come out of the woodwork to say this is a better way. Marijuana has never been the issue. Marijuana's out there, it's everywhere, it's just not regulated, and that's the issue. Marijuana DUIs aren't the issue. Marijuana and violence doesn't happen. So even our law enforcement officers are saying that this is a way that we can free up law enforcement to focus on more pressing needs. There's always been that more cops push that we haven't funded yet, and that's going to be part of this special session. And it's something where more cops would be great, but also freeing them up from chasing their tail on marijuana enforcement would just allow them to concentrate on the big problems.
Well, since you brought up law enforcement, a number of law enforcement groups have endorsed no on 2, and just recently the Nevada Medical Association announced they're against question 2 because they're concerned about public safety, public health. And, what do you have to say to folks who are concerned? Well, if we pass this, my kids might get hot gummies on Halloween.
Right. The suggestion that regulating something tightly will increase its exposure to kids, not only is the logic behind that absurd, but the numbers also don't back that up. If you look at the Healthy Kids Survey, which is the largest survey of kids in Colorado, our opponents cite a really small survey that told them what they wanted to hear, but the gold standard survey in Colorado is the Healthy Kids Survey. It's what they use to benchmark where their kids are education-wise and in regard to things like how many of them are consuming marijuana underage. And if you look at those numbers, it shows two things. Colorado teens consume marijuana at a rate lower than the national average, and usage since regulation has gone down a tick. We would call it flat, it's within a normal range, but usage has gone down. And so it's something where when you regulate this, you can put it in the hands of responsible business people that check ID and that make sure that adults who should have access to this don't get hassled for it. Adults that consume a substance that's less harmful than alcohol just by choice, they shouldn't get hassled for that. But we can work together with the industry to keep it away from kids through child-proof packaging, through the bill draft that we just dropped in Nevada. They'll make Nevada the toughest state in the country for edibles regulation. Square shapes only, no animal shapes, no bright colors, child-proof packaging. So regulation can fix those problems. But the pot brownies that we had in the 70s and 80s, there was no control on. Those were the original edible. No control on dosages, no control on packaging, no one checking ID. Regulation's just a better